Okay, you're welcome back to our channel. So I'm going to be walking you through how to make your first submission on Kaggle. Then for you to submit any notebook, you need to join a competition. And competition could either be paid one or free one. Pay in the sense that some company that list competition task to be done on Kaggle. So when you do it and you come out the best, your team come out the best, they pay you. However, as a beginner, you can go through the unpaid one first to get yourself acquainted or familiarize yourself with mention any basics, which are very, very crucial. So on that, without further ado, I'm going to be using the first task we have here. So this first competition, let's join this competition. So you can read through the overview. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to get yourself acquainted with the problem at end. And the problem at end is to predict, is stated here, is to predict the survivor on the Titanic and get familiar with the ML basics. So it's for us to write a model that predicts the survivor of a passenger or passenger, you know, that survived the havoc. So without further ado, uh, let's go ahead, click on the data set is given already. We have the data set, we have the training data set, we have the text data set. The training data set is used to build the model, as you can see it here. I don't want to take much of a time. I want to go straight to the point. Now, text set should be used to evaluate the model built. You understand? So, all right, let's go to the code. And of course, you can view the code of those who have already joined the Kaggle competition before so as to learn. Okay, so you can open their own notebook like this one now. So you can see, get started, join the competition, the process of submitting your first submission in your code environment, and inside your code environment you start your coding. And of course you can see all of this, so they are very, very crucial. We're going to be using this, so don't let me close it yet. So let's go to our, here is yours. You can see at the right corner, having clicked on the competition, select the type of competition you want to join, and inside there you have the tab. Click on code tab. Then under there by the right side corner we have what? New notebook. Click on new notebook. Good. As we await that, good. As you can see, by default we have all of this, in the cell. To run it, there are a lot of tools here that you can learn. As we progress, we'll be learning a lot of tools. However, this is very, very important to us now. We have the code, we have the markdown. Markdown is to add comments to our line, to our code line, and white code is the one that actually does the work for us. So this is like the button. If you click on it, it executes the code for us. As you can see, it's still executing. Okay, as we await that, this first line, help import numpy. NumPy is a library, a Python library. We can use it to manipulate and do quantitative um, operation. And of course, this is NumPy, pandas. Pandas help us to read data to our notebook. Okay, why this one is just helping us to check where the our data uh, is what stored. So we have the training set, we have the text, and also the type of the structure we want us to save our result with. So I don't actually need this, so I can remove it. But before then, okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it. I wanted removing this before. These are not necessary. Excuse me. This. Oh, what's going on? Okay, cool. Cool. This is not necessary. This is not necessary. Now, to read our CS file, we use pandas. So I'm going to be reading out the training. Don't forget, training is for us. It's used to build what? The data, the model, while the text CSV is used for evaluating the model built with the training data. Okay, so then we can use the alias, that's pd.read. CSV is a format of our data. So inside here, we're going to be passing the path to our data. So the path is /cargo /input /titanic /trained.csv. So let's execute this line. Execute. Okay, good. It has been executed. So let's check the data we have in this variable called train data. Let's enter. Let's run that. Let's run the code. Good. So in our train data, we have the data here. It shows we have the row, the instances. The instances we have is 891 instances. Each row is representing an individual, an entity. So we have 12 columns, that is 12 variables, out of which we have target variable. Remember, I told us that this survived means that is the target, that is the dependent variable, that is what we want to predict. Okay, why other column names like this, they are variable, they are what? They are independent variable that we use to predict the dependent variable, as we have in linear equation. So they are the variable. Okay, so coming down now, we can equally check the first 5 rows. The first 5 rows, can you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can check the first 5 rows of our data. Okay, so let's go back to, let's see this. So we're able to read this. Okay, let's read also the text data. So then we can proceed from there. Data is equals to pd dot read csv cargo, remember, slash, that's where it is being stored here. So cargo blah blah blah, cargo slash impute slash titanic slash text csv. Okay, so we can look at that as well. Text data dot head. You can equally use tail. Tail gives us the last 5 rows. Can you see it now? The last 5 rows. I'm meaning that here we have 418 instances. The count starts from 0, so we have instances. So let's look at the statistics of that. In machine learning, you have to do what we call data processing and also familiarize yourself with the data first, so as to know which of this data, the variable is actually determinants to what we are about to predict, that really affect our prediction or model. So not all the features that we can actually put into the training, it could cause inconsistency in the model in what we predict. So let's look at the statistic of the data training data dot dsc. I think dsc or a function. Could it be a function? Let's see. Oh, dsc. Okay, let's check info. Good. So it gives us the statistical breakdown or info about the data we are. Remember, the column have we have is 12 for the training initially. If I rerun this, let's remove this head. Let's just run this. It will give us the column. Can you see the column is 12, while the instances we have is 891. So here, if you look at it here, that's information we have here. The index at 891 entries that is, and the count starts from zeros to 890. Okay, and that's why I told you initially that this one too is 418, because the count starts from 0. So now the column we have is 12. The count 0 to 11, meaning 12. So the passenger ID, the survived, which is the target variable we're going to be looking at. So it also have 891 instance. The age has 714. What does that mean? It means that there are some rows that the value are missing. They don't get the age. Okay, and okay, cabin also, you will see 204, and why this one 891 and the light. So that information, you can get that. And also there's other uh the other thing we can equally use. I think we can use p panda description. Let's say describe. Is it describe? So we can describe as well. Okay, let's check describe. Let's see what describe does. Describe. Let's see what does it do. Okay, describe. A method return description of the data in the data frame. Description of the data in data frame. So it gives us the description, the statistical description of the data. Let's check that out. Training data dot describe. So let's see. Good. It gives us the statistical breakdown of the data set. Okay, now we have the count. Of course, the entry is 891 that we have here already from the info. If you check it again from the info, that's the entry, the instances representing the passenger, okay, in the training set. Now this is complete. 891, this survived. 891 also instances. 891 age is shortened. So meaning there are some ages there that are not that were not supplied. Okay. Then we have this. Is 181. Then the mean of of course, the mean is that in statistics, summation of f of s, summation s. Okay, that's good. So let's proceed. What else can we do? Let's look at the um this one we open, the notebook we open here. So you can learn from the expert and become expert. So we've done this already. We've read the data, we check the head, and we equally saw what we are seeing here. Okay, so We've done this also. We've read the text data as well, and we've checked it. So part 3 now, your first submission. Okay, all right. Our first submission, what does that mean? We have to explore a pattern first. Explore a pattern. So let's look at the ratio of the women. Can you see? We say the code above calculate the percentage of female passengers so who survived. So let's look at the same. How do we do that? Okay, let's come here. Let's check the number of female. Let's say number of women is equals to training. We are using the training first. Training data in bracket training underscore data dot dot what are we looking at there? Is it gender? Okay, sex. Okay, sex is it capitalized? Yeah, equals to female equals to female then you can say survived. So let's see, let's check that. First and foremost, what this is doing is that is checking through the data set. We have the training data set for the cell. It will now cluster into two cells or genders, female and male. Now we are looking at female. Okay, female. So let's look at that. Let's look at the number. Let's look at the result. Good. You can see this is the result we have. Okay, let's check the info. Let's check the information. Good. You can see that the entries for the women is 314 entries. Okay, okay, so let's look at the description too. Describe 314. Okay, good. All right. So that's the number of, and mind you, how many instances do we have? We have 891 instances. So let's check for the number of men is equals to training underscore data, and also we can use dot high locate. So you can see it, that's what they use there. You might be asking that I don't use it. So this is locate. Okay, we can use locate. So locate, we have locate, we have iLocate. You can look that up from the document, from the documentation, the Panda documentation. So we have training.cell, training data dot cell is equals to male, then survived. Okay, let's see how that is written. Okay, cool. Survived. So let's check that out as well. Men dot shape. You can equally use this to check. Let's look at it together. This gives us the number of entries. Oh, it's not a function. What's the error we have? Tuple object is not callable. Okay, so actually shape is not a function. So we have 577 entries and one column. The absence of this means one column. Okay, now what is if we had this, let's check something. Is it up to 891? There's a number of women plus number of men in the that were onboarded. Sorry. It's going to be dot count. Let's see. Can we try that? Let's see something first. Count. Good. So we have 3 1. Then let's do that for number of men dot count. So we should have the entry is 891. It's complete. Good. Meaning that we have in the total we have in the training set, we have 314 women, and we have 577 men. So what percentage is that? Let's look at it this way. How do we calculate that? Let's look at the percentage respect to total. Let's percentage women percent is equals to number of women divided by training underscore data dot count. So that is the number of women divided by this, then multiply by 100. This over this times 100 over 100. Yeah, multiply by 100. Oh, sorry, asterisk 100. So let's see the percentage. Let's print that out. Let's say print. Can use the format and use this format print. Okay, we can say okay, the percentage of women onboarded is, so let's pass that w underscore percent. So we have 35%. 35%. Wow, cool. 35%. Okay. Let's check for the men, and of course the total must be 100. The total percent must be 100. So I'm going to be changing this to hem and this to hem. That represents men. So let's run the code. So we have 64. So let's add the two together. If it gives us 100, it means our calculation is correct. Let's say percentage plus men percent. So let's add this together. That's 100, correct. 100, correct. So we have 100, correct. Good. So What else do we do? We have gotten, we've checked for the percentage variation. We've checked for the number of women that were onboarded and the number of men that were onboarded as well. So what else can we equally bring out of this? The ratio, yes, the ratio, the rate of women surviving, ratio of women surviving. So we're going to be looking at those that survive within the number of the women and those that did not survive the. So let's copy this. Let's paste it here. So we say women is equals to training wherever survived. So we have sum. So this sum, what it does is, remember, this will give us, let me show you something. Hold on. Comment. So let's see the result of that, of this one, women, of this line. You will see it will give us the number of women that survived and that did not survive the event. So 1 means survived, 0 means not survived. So whenever we are using some women, some we only select the survived passengers out of these women. Okay, let's look at it. It will only give us, it will only select the one that are one. Don't forget, it will select those one that are what one and add them together. Can you see? 200 and 233. Remember, there are 314 or 18 women. Don't forget. Let me show you that. Let me show you. Let's check length. Length. Can you see? 314. Now, this 314, the number of ones we have there is this 233 out of 314, meaning that the other one we have, let's see, let's do it this way. Length of women minus, let's see this one, it will give us the number of zeros we have. Can you see? That is 81 died. 81 of them died, and 81 of women died. This means, let me put a comment here. This gives us the number of women who died. Are we getting it now? So we can go ahead and continue with the code. Let me comment this as well. So I believe you understand this now. So now, this line, what it does, I only is walk us through that so as to know what is happening within the loop. Okay, sorry, I want to uncomment the code now. So I walk us through the first line. The first line gets all the women, okay, survive, not survive, in this variable called women. Then the rate of women that survived is going to be the sum of the ones, 1 means survived, over the total number of the entries, the total number of the women onboarded. So then that will give us the percentage. Let's run that here. So the percentage of women who survived is 0.74, meaning 74% of them survived it. Okay, remember I did something initially, 81. We did one calculation, 81, then divided by the total 81 divided by so that these are the number of people who do not survive. Okay, now okay, let me do it this way. Let's do it this way. This is the number of the people that survive. Let me copy that and put it here. Copy this print and put it here. Let's see the number of the women who did not survive. Who did not survive. So how do we calculate that? Don't forget, I've shown us. We are going to remove. Okay, this is just it. Let's take it from here. Copy and put it here. Ratio rate W not survived is equals to this divided by don't forget, this one will give us the number of those that did not survive. So divided by the total number as we have here. If this one gives us the number of those that survived, so this one will give us the number of those that did not survive. So divided by the total number. So let's run that. Okay, this variable, we must change this variable. Let's put it here. Good. So run this. Good. So we have 25, let's say approximately 0.26 of them. That is 26% did not survive this. Hope we are getting it. Now let's check the men as well. Just copy your code, copy the same code, paste it here. Then change the variable men. Change this to May. Change this one to men. Change this one to men. Also this men. For those that survived that. So let's run that. So for the men, okay, sorry, change this. Good. So for men, there are 90% of them survive. Wow. Meaning that men survive the event. 75% of women survived the disaster. That's Titanic shipwreck. But most men died. Let's look at the number of men that died, the percentage of men that died. Okay, let me change this to M and this. So, okay, we are good to go. Let's run that. Wow, 81% of men died. Are you seeing the scenario now? So we are exploring the data. We are yet to even build. So what makes most of the women to survive the event? What makes them to survive the event? That's a question for the other day. But however, let's look at what makes an individual to survive the event. Okay, let's go down. Let's continue. We've done that already. So our first machine learning model that we're going to be using is random forest model. We're going to be using that. As you can see, if you want to know about that, you can check the documentation and read. So, but however, we are going to be using random forest model. So this is the principle. So you can read out that. So to use that, we need to import it. So let's copy the line. Let's import it. Let's create another line. Let's put it here. So you can see from sklearn, the folder dot assembly, import random forest classifier. So we have imported that. So let's instantiate the class. Let's call it model is equals to random forest classifier forest classifier. So there are parameters to be given net. So we are going to tune that classifier. You can read about that. So we are giving it number of estimator. Also the depth, the maximum depth is 5. You should not go more than that. If you check this is what we mean by depth, the height of the tree. Can you see the depth? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the depth of the tree is what we mean by that. So it should not be too deep. Then we have the random underscore state is equals to 1. So you have to set that to 2. Now, if you look at this, we are going to be separating, in our linear equation, we have, don't forget, in linear equation, linear regression, this is the formula. You see, we normally have y is equals to mx, all of those. That's for the linear equation. So we are going to be separating the independent variable, the x here now. X is what? Is the independent variable. Y is the dependent variable, meaning is our target. The target we are looking at, okay? So good. So that's by the way. So let's now continue with our model building. So the model already, let's build that. We have successfully built the model. Let's run it. Let's see what is there. Model, and run it. Good. So this is an instance of the model. We've created an instance of the model. So now we need to train it. So how do we train it? Now remember the feature we have, there are 12 of them. Out of the 12, we have one to be what? To be the target variable. So we're going to be separating the target variable from the major variable. So now look at it, training data dot column. Let's look at that, if that will give us some insight to what we need to use here. Columns. Is it columns? Let's see. It's not callable. Okay, let me remove this. Good. So meaning that we have this column, there are 12 of them, but which one do we actually need? So the y is the dependent variable, don't forget. So for us to get the y, we have to separate both dependent and independent of the training set. So y is equals to training data dot survive. You can use it this way, or if you like, you can equally use slash. You can slash it, survived. Can you see that? Then for the other one, for the x, for the x variable, we are using how many? We are using just 4 of the features. So that's what we want to use. So let's copy that. Okay, let me say comment. Let me comment for the independent, for the determinant, comma. So we are using those features. So we're using the P, that's the passenger class, the gender cells, the siblings or the spouse, that if the passenger has spouse or if he has siblings. And okay, pouch. So after then we can now, mind you, this line, what is doing here, our model cannot work with qualitative qualitative value, meaning it cannot work with, let's go up again. Let's go up. What do I mean by qualitative value? We are using how many features? 4 features. We are using p class, cells, and siblings and pouch. So look at it. Under the cell has a qualitative or category value or categorized value. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry for that. Categorized value, meaning male and female. That cannot work perfectly in our model. Model work with numbers, quantitative value. So we are going to be changing this to numbers, whether male to 1 and female, or we are going to be doing that. Let's see, how do we do that? There's a function to do that in the pandas. So read the pandas that documentation. So it's called domains, get domain. So it converts it into numbers. So let's read that. Let's run that and see the result of x. Good, it has 1. So let's see what x means. Let's see the value of x now. Let's see what we have in x. Good. Oh, but however, you can see it say cell is separated them into different column. However, we have 0 for have and true. We have true for 1. So this also cannot work. So meaning, let's check the new update. Let's check the new update. How to, you can look up here, say how to convert categorical data to numerical data. So let's check this first. Okay, using PD pandas. Let's use this. Let's check that. Okay, we have replace, but I want us to use okay, say it, but I want us to use, let's say, get dummies. Okay, good. Let's read it from here. Let's see it together. Good. Okay, so let's look at the example. The example we have here, true. So as you can see, year 2 is showing all of those. But if we don't want this, so meaning the data type, we have to say float. We have to add that to it, that argument. Data type, we call it float. We add float to it. Is it a string or ordinary? Okay, float. Good. So let's run it again and see. You run from here. Good. I think I've clicked on that. Good. Did I run this? Good. Can you see it now? So initially we are having true or false, but that cannot still work perfectly with our model. So we need to do something different. So we have to convert that to float value, or if we don't want to use float, let's see if we can use integer. Let's see if integer can work. Let's see if integer can, yeah, good, integer works. So we can go with integer value. So now, having done that, so what is the next things to do? We have gotten our x, we have gotten our y that we want to use to train the model that we have created the instance here. Don't forget here. So now scrolling down now, let's create another code cell. Now coming back here, we have, now can you see, okay, we've done this, we've created it. Now to train, we don't use train function, we call it what? Fit. What does that mean? Fit is what that will help us train to get the coefficient of each of those features. When you train your model, it stores the coefficients of those features because we are using multivariant features. Multivariant in the sense that we are having more than one. Look at this comment, what I did here. This is just only one variable. But what if our target depends on m1 x1 plus m2 x2, meaning that variable the s1 could be the p class, the second variable this and that. So there are how many variables? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 variables. So is this 5 variables that are, that are being denoted as x1, x2, x3 to x5. Then m1 is what we are looking for, their coefficient. Is the one that the model will train and keep, will save it in its memory, so that when you run it again, you will use that what's it called? It will use those stored coefficients to compute for the other y, the other target value. Okay, I think the next class I'm going to be taking you through those theoretical aspect of it. It might not be the next class, maybe after we finish this. We want to look into this Kaggle deeply, when it will result into becoming expert from 0 to hero. So let's do that. Model, remember we have created an instance already. Model, sorry for that, someone is putting a call through for me, so I'm going to do that. Hello, mo wá pè yín padà class. All right, sorry for that. I'm back with a call from my mom. It is very, very essential. Okay, now we have to train. So we are going to supply remember, we have separated the target variable and what? And the independent variable. So we have x and y. So we're going to be putting it into what's going on here. So the first one is x, comma, y. So we are using this one. Remember, train value has the target value already and the variable. So it's only calculating for the what? For the coefficient of each of this variable. Okay, so that is what is going to keep in its memory for us to generate other passenger who we don't know their survivor status. Okay, so let's run that fit. Good, we have run that. So after then, we can now predict for the text. Can you see? For the text data, if you look at the text data, we have read it out already. We've used Panda to get it already. So it's text data head. So I think it was separated as well. We have to separate it to select the one we want to use. It must be the same. With what? With the feature we use to train as well. Okay, so don't forget the feature are how many? They are what? They are 4. Okay, they are 4 here. Okay, so come here, let's do that also. X underscore text. text is equals to, don't forget we have text underscore data, right? Underscore data dot get underscore dummies, a function. So we're going to be giving it what and what are we supplying. Yes, the name of the data we are to use, the name of the data we are to use. Then we change this one to text data. Then instead of this, we are using panda. It's from the panda actually we get that function from. So good. So we are done now. Let's run this. Good, no issue. So now what do? We are to predict. So to predict, we use dot predict. We only need an argument to pass. So predicted, let's say predicted value is equals to model dot predict. So what are we passing? X. So let's run that. Good. Let's see what is there. Predicted. Okay, predicted. Let's use common, right? Predicted value. Then under the predicted value is going to value. Let's run that. Good. This is an array of zeros and ones. So our model predicts the survival. So this is not what we after now we need to now write it into CSV for submission. So our output, we need to, you see output, we need to convert it back to the, so can we type that or should just copy? Okay, let's try the typing. From here, what are we using? Let me just copy because of our time. Time. I will say write to CSV. So post. So the first line help us to structure our this array that we got into data frame of, now the data frame have the key of this. Don't forget and survive. We were told to add the ID of the passenger and also the survivor. That's the only thing they want to see in our submission. Then after making it a data frame, we need to write it to CSV. So in writing it to CSV, just call the variable output dot you can use any variable name actually. So variable output dot to CSV. Then the name of the CSV, we can call it CSV. You can call it my CSV, my first submission. So we are not giving a particular name. You can name it any name you want to name it. Print. Let's run it. Oh, prediction. So there's nothing called prediction. It's actually called predicted. Don't forget, we copied this. That's why we are getting that predicted value. So let's run it again. Good. Successful. So do you want to see? Okay, we've checked that before. Save version. Can you see now? We are done now. So what's next to be done is to make submission. So how do we make submission? You will see we have to save version and save and run. Okay, we have to save the version, we have to save it. So let's go back to our code. Here we have save version. Then you select this, you select save and run. So let's save it. So let's wait for it to take some minutes. Successful. Good. So now we can see edit, open in viewers. Let's open in viewers. Then from there we'll be able to make a submission. So this is it. This is our code. Can you see? This is our own code. This is it. Good. Good. So this is what we are submitting. Good. Good. The output. Can you see the output? Can view the output. Can you see? This is the output. Then now, under viewing the output now, you can now see submit. So what you need to do, just click on submit. Good. This is the name of the output file, and this description you can say submission description. Thus notebook is my first. Let's just try first. Try it yourself on Kaggle platform. Good. So let's submit it. Congratulations, you just scored 77.5%. Wow. However, you can still make a progress. There's a room for improvement. Okay, so this is your submission. So let's check. There's no error. It's successful. So it's marked say complete. Now this notebook is my first submission. That's the description. So let's go to the leadership and see where we are. Don't forget, what's your name? Look at it. Notebook. Let's say 47. Let's see where you are. It will actually take us to where you are. So this is you. So let's jump to the leadership position and see where we are. Pim. Oh, congratulations. Can you see? Oh, Sonex 08. There are many people there already. So we are at the position 9,419. So if you want to jump up, you can go on and do some other thing with your code. However, this is where we're going to stop. Then what will help us to move up high to to the a better rankings position. We are going to be learning that subsequently. So you can read this. It say your first entry. Welcomes to the leadership vote. Your score represents your submission accuracy. For example, a score of 0.7 in this competition indicates you predicted Titanic survivor correctly by 70% of people. What next? You've got a few options. Learn skill that can improve your score in our Intro to Machine Learning courses by Dan Becker, and check out the discussion for to find lots of tutorials and insight from other competitors. Find a new challenge by entering one or other open active competitions or searching for public data set. So we'll stop from here. The next time we're going to walk us through all of this. We're going to be doing everything together, take the course together. Bye for now. Remember to subscribe.